The Syrian desert stretched, a tapestry woven with sand and secrets. The midday sun beat down relentlessly. Dr. Eleanor Reynolds, her brow slick with sweat, brushed away grains of sand from a partially unearthed stone slab. Renowned for her meticulous approach, Eleanor had dedicated her life to unearthing the past. Now, amidst the ruins of an ancient city lost to time, she felt an unfamiliar tremor of anticipation. This dig, she sensed, held something extraordinary. For months, her team had been excavating the site, carefully brushing away centuries of sediment. They had unearthed remnants of a civilization unlike any Eleanor had encountered. The architecture, the pottery, the fragments of language etched onto crumbling walls. Everything hinted at a culture advanced far beyond its years. This civilization had mastered astronomy, engineering, and arts with an almost impossible finesse. Yet they vanished abruptly from historical records, leaving behind only whispers and legends. Eleanor knelt beside the slab, tracing the intricate carvings with her fingers. The carvings were intricate, swirling patterns that seemed to writhe and shift under her touch. They resembled no known language, yet they evoked a strange sense of familiarity, like a half-remembered dream. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the dig site, one of her team members called out, his voice laced with excitement. He gestured towards a newly exposed section of the slab. It was an inscription, clearer than the others, and at its center lay an object carved in exquisite detail. It was a disc, perfectly circular, crafted from a material as black as night. The obsidian disc rested in the palm of Eleanor's hand, cold and strangely alive. It was heavier than it looked, its smooth surface cool to the touch. The setting sun caught the disc at an angle, revealing a faint, ethereal glow emanating from within. As she turned it over, her fingers traced the intricate carvings that adorned its surface, a series of interlocking circles and spirals that seemed to pulse with an energy she couldn't quite comprehend. There was something captivating about the disc, something that drew her in, whispered promises of forgotten knowledge and impossible secrets. Intuition, honed by years of experience, told her this was no ordinary artifact. It was more than just a beautifully crafted object. This disc, she realized with a start, was a key. The carvings, the material, the sheer age of the thing, they all pointed towards something extraordinary, something beyond the realm of conventional archaeology. The inscription surrounding the disc, though still undeciphered, hinted at a power that defied explanation. It spoke of a veil, a barrier between worlds, and the disc as the key to bridging that divide. Eleanor, a woman of science and logic, found herself grappling with a rising tide of unease. The rational part of her mind screamed at the absurdity of it all. Parallel universes, other worlds. These were the stuff of science fiction, not archaeological discoveries. And yet, she couldn't shake off the feeling that she was on the verge of something momentous, something that could shatter her understanding of reality itself. As the last rays of the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the desert in an eerie twilight, she knew she had to learn more. Back at her makeshift lab, a canvas tent pitched a safe distance from the dig site, Eleanor pored over ancient texts and scrolls. She searched for any mention of the obsidian disc, any legend or myth that could shed light on its true nature. The desert night was silent, the air thick with anticipation. The only sound was the scratch of her pen against parchment as she translated fragments of text, her mind racing to connect the dots. She found references to the disc in the most unexpected of places. A Sumerian clay tablet, spoke of a gatekeeper of realms, a black mirror reflecting a world unseen. An Egyptian papyrus depicted a similar disc, held aloft by a pharaoh, with an inscription that spoke of journeying beyond the veil of night. Each story, each myth, painted the disc as an object of immense power, a conduit to a realm beyond human comprehension. As the night deepened, a sense of foreboding settled over Eleanor. The legends spoke of dangers as well, of those who had dared to pierce the veil and the price they had paid. They spoke of worlds colliding, of time bending in on itself, of realities unraveling at the seams. Yet, despite the warnings, despite the fear that gnawed at the edges of her composure, Eleanor couldn't shake off the allure of the unknown. She had spent her life chasing after fragments of the past, piecing together the story of humanity one artifact at a time. And now, she held in her hands the key to a mystery that dwarfed anything she could have imagined. Section 4. The Unveiling. Sleep that night was fitful, plagued by strange dreams filled with swirling patterns and whispering voices. When dawn finally broke, painting the eastern sky in hues of rose and gold, Eleanor knew what she had to do. She gathered her team, their faces etched with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, and returned to the dig site. The obsidian disc, carefully wrapped in linen cloth, felt heavier than ever. Under the watchful gaze of the desert sun, they returned to the slab where they had discovered the disc. Eleanor, her heart pounding in her chest, placed the disc back into its inscription. As soon as her fingers left the cool obsidian, the air crackled with energy. The carvings on the slab began to glow, the light intensifying with each passing moment until it was almost unbearable to look at. A low hum vibrated through the air, growing louder, more insistent. The stone slab beneath the disc trembled, and a fissure, thin as a hair, snaked its way across its surface. The fissure widened, growing with alarming speed, splitting the slab in two. From the depths of the earth, a blinding light erupted, bathing the dig site in an otherworldly glow. The air crackled and popped, charged with raw energy. Eleanor shielded her eyes, her breath catching in her throat as the light reached its peak. Then, as suddenly as it began, the light subsided. Silence descended upon the dig site, broken only by the sound of their ragged breathing. Eleanor, her heart pounding, lowered her hand and stared at the chasm that had opened up where the slab once stood. It wasn't a hole in the ground, not anymore. It was a doorway. Section 5. Through the Veil. A swirling vortex of colours shimmered within the chasm, beckoning Eleanor closer. It pulsed with an energy that was both alluring and terrifying, a visual representation of the thin veil that separated her world from another. Fear, cold and sharp, pricked at the edges of her courage. This was madness, she thought, a journey into the unknown with consequences she couldn't begin to fathom. But the archaeologist in her, the part of her that craved knowledge above all else, urged her forward.